6:03 on a Monday morning. It is April 14th. We're at 49 degrees, mostly cloudy, warm today. We could reach the upper 70s. Good morning. I'm Michelle Basch.
And I'm John Aaron. The top local story we're following this hour. The Trump administration is arguing to a federal judge that it is not responsible for bringing back a wrongfully deported Maryland man from El Salvador. WTOP's Luke Lukert explains.
In a court filing over the weekend, Justice Department attorneys argue that a recent Supreme Court ruling ordering the administration take all steps available to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia means they'll remove any domestic barriers of his return, but they argue the courts have no authority to direct any foreign relations, including forcing demands on foreign governments or sending planes into sovereign airspace. Abrego Garcia remains in the terrorism confinement center in El Salvador after he was mistakenly sent there due to years-old gang tie accusations. Last week, a federal judge ordered frequent updates on Abrego Garcia and plans on how the administration would get him back to Maryland. Luke Lukert, WTOP News.
Now to the Trump impact on our region. Today is the day federal agencies have to submit their plans to move out of the DMV. More on that from WTOP's Alan Etter.
The Trump administration wants to start selling off key federal properties like the DOJ headquarters downtown and the Departments of Agriculture and Housing and Urban Development in Southwest. They want to move what remains of those agencies to areas of the country that don't cost as much. Officially, 16 federal buildings are for sale. Not all of those are in the D.C. area, but at least a third of them are. The Washington Post reports states are coming hard for those agencies to relocate there. Florida, for example, has Senators Scott and Moody introducing a bill to move NASA to Brevard County. Texas and Ohio are also making the case to move the space agency there. However this all plays out, the biggest loser could be the local D.C. economy, with the tax base potentially moving away. The Council of Governments estimates 17% of people in the DMV work in the federal government. Alan Etter, WTOP News.
This was going to be the day that the IRS brought back probationary employees. But as WTOP's Sandy Kozel reports, recent court decisions changed that plan.
It was Federal News Network that first reported that the IRS planned to bring its fired probationary employees back to their jobs today. The agency was set to give them the option of returning to work or voluntarily separating from federal service. That was before an email that went out on Friday. Our news partners are now reporting those fired workers got an IRS email saying, based on recent court decisions, efforts to return you to full-duty status by April 14 have been paused. Unless otherwise instructed, you will remain on administrative leave until further notice. The IRS says the probationary employees are still eligible for several incentives to leave federal service, including the Deferred Resignation Program. Sandy Kozel, WTOP News.
Many of us have lived paycheck to paycheck at least some point in our lives. All this month in WTOP's Money Matters series, we're looking at ways to grow your nest egg. This morning, WTOP's Neil Augenstein is learning more about saving for short-term goals.
Suppose you want to save to put a back deck on your house or go on a nice family vacation.
You don't want the stock market to drop 10% and you not be able to buy that vacation or deck that you've always wanted.
So Clark Kendall with Kendall Capital says you'll want to tap into your savings accounts, CDs, and money markets. If those don't exist, he says it's time to look into cutting your without much thought spending.
Making a cup of coffee at home at 50 cents or $1 compared to spending it at Starbucks for $6 or $7 is the real issue.
And keep thinking about that short-term goal.
If you want to go to the Caribbean islands, put a picture of the Caribbean islands on your mirror in the morning and make that a focus for you.
Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
More short-term savings tips can be found at WTOP.com. And be sure to check back this afternoon. We'll be looking at ways to save for your long-term goals.
Coming up in Money News, prices could be going up for something else, this time video games. Traffic and weather in 30 seconds.